Hey guys, and welcome to Top Channel One-on-One. So I'm trying to make a mini planet animation, something like this, and I have a few reference images and others on my second screen. I decided to start with modeling something like this here, and I'm just going to show you the process of doing that. And I want it to be animated, maybe have a camera moving from there, and then while the planet is rotating, maybe I can add my own logo and what. I'm going to be mixing a lot of materials, and yeah, I think it's going to be a little fun project. So today I decided to start with modeling this farmhouse, and I did two tests. One, I textured it using Blender. This is the version textured using Blender, and you can see how that came out. But I also wanted to have this, share this model with maybe use it in something like Unreal Engine. And I know Blender shaders don't transfer in Unreal Engine because they have a lot of these nodes that that Unreal Engine doesn't have. So that's why they don't really work there. So I made another version and textured that with Substance Painter, and this is how that looks. So this video is just going to be a time lapse of showing you the process of making this one, also including the texturing bit, texturing in Blender and texturing in Substance Painter. You can see the difference there. So I think for this one, the time it took to texture in Blender, I think it was faster to texture in Blender than in Substance, because in Substance you have to do a lot of preparation, especially with UV unwrapping. You can't just work with what you have. So for example, let me first show you the UVs here. I had to unwrap these and UV them correctly in a way that makes more sense than when I'm using Blender. In Blender, because I don't really have to do that, especially if I'm not going to bake anything. You can see meshes. You can see nothing is UV unwrapped here. Everything is, yeah, you just jump in, and if you're going to use this in Blender, I think you can let me know in the comments which one you think looked better. But I think I like this. The only difference is that in Blender you don't really have a lot of options for masks like you do in Substance Painter. You can see some of the masks I'm using here. The edges are cheap. The paint is worn out on some of the planks here, but yeah, you can still achieve the same results if you put in the time, but you usually get more results faster with Substance Painter, but most of the time you're going to spend it on UV unwrapping, and this took me a while to UV unwrap. But another thing I could show you maybe before we get into the time-lapse is how I modeled some of the tricks I used to model this to model this. So for these wood planks, it's very simple. I think I've shown this a few times. If you just go into edit mode and just add a few subdivisions, you don't have to separate these. I used to do that, but I found another trick where you could just add a split edge split, and then add a solidify, then a bevel. So the split edge can be based off an angle or sharpness of edges, and the way you can set sharpness, you just select everything and then Ctrl E, mark sharp, and that will turn these into wooden planks like that. Yeah, so that was most of it. So I'm using PBR textures for this. Let me show you other texturing here. I'm going to show you the full time lapse of how I textured this, but the texturing is very simple. Let me isolate one of these. You can see it's just two textures, wooden texture like that, and another one like this, and I blended two using a mask that I generate from this texture by just basically creating some contrast from a lot of contrast from this by using this and mixing that here. That gives me some paint chipped off the wood, like some of the wood doesn't, maybe edge wear or wood wear, the paint is wearing out, and parts of the underlying wood material is starting to show. And because I'm using the same texture here as the color one, it creates that good detail. Because this is a wood texture, I'm using that as a texture as the mask and ending up with that. It's a nice way to create a paint. I would change the image, the text. Actually, I think I need to change, because this is too low res. I think the reason I didn't change, I don't think I don't have, I think this could work. Yeah, this could work. I just need to rotate this. Yeah, this is a better resolution. Yeah, of course it's going to be tiling, but it doesn't, okay, I think it tiles well. We won't be able to see any seams because remember we also have this paint layer. Okay, the colors have changed a bit. Maybe one thing I could do is just add a mix node here, change it to color. Yeah, so that I can make it, yeah, and then maybe scale it further. Let's see how that is looking. This is just a metal surface with a metal material with some bit of roughness for the roof. Maybe scale up this bit. But basically that's how I did the texturing for that. The windows are just yeah, the same paint, the same material, the same way I created the material, but this time instead of using red, I'm using a white color to make it look like white paint. Then the glass is just an image plugged into the roughness to get those rough areas, and then the rest is just yeah, that just a dark color to make it like glass. No transparency, nothing, because I don't expect to show the inside of this, but that's it. Yeah, and the rest of the modeling process is very simple. Maybe one thing I could do is show you how I made the roof quickly here, talk about that very quickly before we jump into the time lapse. So I'm kind of forgetting, I think I started with a plain had a loop. Yeah, subdivided that, and then I just turn on proportional editing because I wanted it to have a shape like that, and then just delete the bottom part, extrude on the X, and to make these I don't know how to call them, but those I just add subdivisions. I just select, I think there's a way to select these without, I have to be in edge mode without losing the selection. Oh yes, something like that, and then Control B, push these, Alt S out, and then round off that. Give it the same material and UV unwrap it, shade smooth, and you're good. That's the same way I created these, and yeah, the rest is just detailing, adding in those extra details. So yeah, let's jump into the time lapse, and this is going to be part one, I guess, part one of creating this, and maybe the next video could be about making a tree, I like this, and maybe some of these, and yeah, because yeah, we want to end up with an animation like this, at least something like this, and yeah, that's it. Let's jump into the time lapse. The project files are going to be available on my Patreon and Gumroad if you want to get them.